The Indian automotive industry is the sixth largest in the world today, having deep forward and backward linkages with several key segments of the economy. For over 50 years, the Automotive Component Manufacturers Association of India, ACMA, has been working consciously towards creating a greater synergy between various stakeholders of the automotive industry.
All these companies come together, get together, meet together, share together and achieve together. It is all implemented in the Indian way because we know our work culture, and so these program roadmaps are made in such a manner it can be done, achieved and sustained.
The ACMA Centre for Technology, ACT, was established in the year 1989 with a mandate to provide technical support to the ACMA members.
The idea of ACT was seeded when an ACMA delegation of senior industry leaders visited the Ontario Centre of Auto Parts Technology. This was sometimes in the late 80s. Subsequent to that, ACMA entered into an MOU with the centre, and that was the genesis of ACT. Since then, there's been no looking back.
It's very expensive, all this, and ACMA didn't have the funds to really do as much as they wished. So they got the UN involved into it. It was very nice for them because they then got people from abroad to come and lecture. At that time, the cluster thing was not there.
Various industry stalwarts were its founder members.
We got funding from UNIDO, we got CI counselors to work with us, and then we developed our own counselors. And I think it's been a great addition to ACMA members, to have an organization like ACT supporting it, developing the supply base. I think starting from just simple TQM movement of trying to improve productivity, now we've gone into new product development, we've gone into lean manufacturing, clusters, etc. So I think all of this will eventually help the auto component industry.
The clusters that we set up, I would always tell them that what we teach you might not be the final thing, but what you learn from each other is more important. So it is the interaction of the various people from various industries, even competitive industries or in competition, people industries who are in competition, they would actually talk to each other and discuss issues and possibilities and make improvements. Probably the auto component industry is probably one of the industries which has actually taken a lead. And we did it out of necessity because we were fortunate that earlier the imports were not totally allowed. And because imports are not allowed, localization had to take place. Then we had to meet the expectations of the Japanese and Korean customers and or European customers. And it was very important for us to actually get in, and that's the reason we are probably ahead of the rest of the industry.
We sort of debated the whole thing, and we wanted to start a cluster of 12 companies. We could get only 8 because nobody knew what they're going to get. But by the time the cluster program went through 6 months, 9 months, they openly told me we got all our money back in 3 months. So the word spread around, and a lot of people applied, I understand, in the following years.
Since then, ACT has been delivering multiple trainings to build capabilities in members to improve their manufacturing competitiveness, increase productivity and profitability, enhance quality standards, and prepare them to become self-reliant through its various interventions such as cluster programs for world-class shop floor practices that are sustainable, technical support through special programs such as AOTS training in Japan, specialized trainings and seminars in India, providing opportunities to members to avail technology advantages evolved through various institutions like ARAI, TIFAC, DSIR, NATRIP, Fraunhofer, MIT and other eminent institutions, helping ACMA members in standardization and harmonization.
The companies have transformed tremendously. ACT is laying down the future standards of industrial activity.
ACT clusters are unique as they encourage sharing of best practices, including those amongst competitors.
From the very beginning, a consultant coming in and ACT we thought would be the best consultant. I interacted with the ACT counselors and I got a lot of confidence. It has been a fantastic journey so far.
We know that this is a very competitive field and we have to keep our competitive edge, and the way that we choose to attain this competitive edge is to learn. The best way to learn is to benchmark your activities with other companies, and in this way the cluster program has been a very good boon to us.
This has led to significant benefits for cluster program participants in diverse areas such as space optimization, improved productivity, energy saving, better inventory management, enhanced quality and total employee involvement.
In the auto component space, I feel the contribution by ACMA through the cluster movement has been the, I would say, catalyst or the prime mover to drive the change.
ACT has now initiated a new service called ACT Handholding Service that provides support to companies in identifying gaps and help sustain the gains that have been achieved during engagement in the cluster programs.
ACT's focus through the majority of its 15 years has really been around competitiveness, which is streamlining operations, getting involvement of people, improving the quality of product going out of the companies and reducing cost. But going forward, we need to go beyond zero defect. So ACT is in the process of actually designing a new program which we will launch shortly, which is called Beyond Zero Defect. Ensuring that within the company you have processes which are so robust that the possibility of a defect ever going through is less, not due to inspection but due to robustness of processes.
Today, ACT is committed to fulfill the growing need in India for skilled manpower and best practices across the auto sector and address the existing gaps.
ACT is continuously going to move up the value chain for levels of productivity which are maybe even unheard of today, but tomorrow will become the order of the day. Quality is something which we need to continuously improve on. And the third aspect, which is people. Again, people need to be improved upon on an everyday basis, and ACT has done a wonderful work in terms of training, retraining of people.
Make in India with zero defect and zero effect are the new buzzwords for the way forward for both ACT and the industry today.
The ACT cluster program has really expanded not only to the original roadmap what was set up, but it has now gone to a situation where there is a very dedicated programs to various areas, including the zero defect area.
I'm proud to say that our company was also part of the first cluster where we experienced this ourselves. It became such a mass movement, it became such a movement which actually contributed not only to the industry but creating an ecosystem for our second and third tiers as well.
Since its inception, 450 manufacturing units have been benefited by this cluster program. I am sure more manufacturing units, our members will take advantage of this and upgrade their facilities to the world-class manufacturing unit.